Selamat datang. Welcome to another episode of Expats in Indonesia. My name's Tim. The boss Worcy is directing me over there. And you are going to see hotel review number 6. Sumberkima Hill Hotel. Yay, I said it right. Woohoo! This is probably our most authentic Indonesian stay, as well as our most rustic stay on this trip. So sit back, relax, and pay attention to the views that we had at this stay. After being escorted to our villa or bungalow, whatever you want to call it, in Kasambi number 1, which there are only 2 in the building that we were in. You actually walk along the back side of the building, because number 2 is first and then number 1 is the further one, in order to get to the front of ours that we were staying in. But again, look at the nature around you, the new plants that are being planted, and look at that view as you round the corner. That's worth every dollar that we spent just looking at that view. And then when you get up on the porch, there's an awesome large chase lounge or settee, or I don't even know what you'd call it, but it's plenty big enough for Worcy and I to sit on it. And we spent a couple hours on it. We were only at the hotel for one night. We spent a couple hours that night hanging out on that. But what an awesome setup this hotel was. Very rustic again. You can see all wooden doors, wooden floors, which actually moved when you walked on them. Bed with a mosquito net around it. It did have AC, but it just knocked the chill out of the air. With a ceiling fan, again, it just knocked the chill out, knocked the heat down for us. And then the bathroom was all outdoors. Shower, toilet, everything was outdoors. And quite honestly, the shower, the water distribution portion of the shower, it was cool. It came out of a frog's head or frog's mouth, but it was one solid strong stream. Okay, this is one of the 2 restaurants on the property, and please watch the video to the end and my closing on this video so that you can understand why there was a little bit of a level of frustration with us at this restaurant on our day of check-in. But this is the Indonesian restaurant, and there's 2 restaurants on property. Awesome view. We sat, maybe you can see the boss sitting there, but that's where we sat. Look at the beautiful flowers out there, and then look at the valley view that you get. Just incredible. And then off to the right is the bay and the water view again. So just phenomenal. They took what I'm thinking is like an old rice farming area and turned this into a resort area. And they have 2 pools, 2 restaurants, the spa, the gym. This is the other restaurant. This is the Western restaurant. This is where we ate our it kind of ended up being our dinner or our dinner, if you want to call it that. It was too late to be lunch and maybe a little too early to be dinner, but either way, it was good food that we had here. Above average by far. I believe Worcy got nasi goreng, and I got a tuna steak. Tuna steak was a little bit overcooked, but they never asked me how I wanted it cooked, so they're gonna go with what they feel comfortable with. This is the lobby area, how you get to the lobby area. This was a lot of walking. This place was really spread out. We got our steps in walking around this resort. What I'm gonna do is here I'm gonna take you into the lobby, In the lobby, they have some homemade artisan crafts, like hats and shirts and cover-ups and stuff like that, and then some oils and soaps and stuff like that. And then on the outside wall, you can see here, they have a gallery for different pictures and artwork that they sell for local artisans. And that's the check-in area right there. The spiral staircase leading up to the pool here is fun to climb, but we made it safely. You can see it's late in the afternoon, so it's pretty darn hot. Not a whole lot of people jumping in that pool. Because it was so empty, Worcy and I went and got our swimsuits on and came back and swam in the pool. And then this is the front of the building that we stayed in, our villa that we stayed in. Appreciate you guys watching, and please watch till the end and you'll understand what I was talking. I'd like to know what you guys thought of our stay at Sumberkima Hill Resort or Hotel. The rustic side of it, the view side of it, all comments, thumbs up. Love to hear your opinions. We enjoyed it. The one thing it didn't have was a TV, which was fine. And we got a lot of walking in. You have to make sure you wear your walking shoes. Couple negatives that I'll point out, because if you watch the first introduction to the channel video, I'm not opposed to giving my opinion. When we checked in, the young lady that checked us in told us about both of the restaurants. We went to there's two restaurants, the Indonesian one and the American one. And we went to the Indonesian one at about 1:45, 1:50. Sat down, they sat us down, no problem. Went to order and decided we were gonna wait till 2 o'clock because that's when the dinner menu started, and asked the waitress about it, and she told us they were actually closing at 2 o'clock for a special event they had that evening. But they would still let us order some food off the breakfast menu. We ordered food, she came back, two of the items, both items they were out of. We ordered a third item, they were out of that. So we decided, we'll just go to the American or the Western restaurant and get something to eat. So Worcy had a iced latte that she had ordered, so we asked them to pack that up to go, and I went to pay cash for that, and they were short $3,000 worth of, or 3,000 rupiah worth of change when we paid for that. So communication a little bit off when it comes to letting the guests know about that kind of stuff. But otherwise, we enjoyed our stay. We only stayed for one night, and that one night was 950,000 rupiah, which is, I already forgot how much it was. $57. The director said $57 for the night. And that did not include breakfast. But the prices at the restaurant were reasonable considering where we were out in the middle of nowhere. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, all the good stuff. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another.